why. Now back to Melissa. She feels like it seems as if there's an invisible weight and a chain that seems to enslave her, keep her weighted down, and she looks for the day that she'll cut that bind off for good and break free, right? Now Melissa has a friend, yeah, and Melissa's friend, he feels like life is manipulating him, and even his own brain seems programmed and conditioned to fight him. Ain't that crazy? And all they want now, all Melissa and her friend want now, Josh, they just want some answers. They just want to know what's going on, what does it take, what's wrong, what's missing. That's all they want to know. What's the big deal, right? What's the deal here? What's up? Okay, before we move on, let us clarify the problem even better. We really need to understand what our problem is first and foremost before we can start rushing towards looking for solutions. And for this, let's look at the story of the flea and the elephant. Now, once upon a time, there was a flea who believed that he was the king of the world. One day, he decided that he wanted to go to the beach for a swim. But the western shore was many miles away, and on his own, the flea could only travel inches at a time. He's a tiny little guy. So if he was going to reach the shore, the beach, during his lifetime, he would need transportation. So he called out to his buddy, the elephant, right? His elephant. He thought it was his elephant because he's always on the elephant, right? So he said, "Hey there, elephant, let's go out." So the flea's elephant came to his side and kneeled down, and the flea hopped on, and, pointing to the west, he said, "That way, to the beach." But the elephant did not go west. He rather felt like taking a stroll in the forest to the east, and that's what it did, the mountainous forest. And the flea, much to his dismay, could do nothing but go along for the ride. He had no choice, and he spent the day being smacked in the face by leaves and branches. Now, the next day, the flea tried to get the elephant to take him to the shore, to the store, to buy some lotion for his face, because his face was just damaged from the forest the day before. But instead, the elephant took a long romp in the northern mountains, terrifying the poor flea so badly that he could not sleep that night. The flea could not sleep. It was just, the flea stayed in his bed for days, beset by nightmares of, thundering along mountain roads, certain that he was gonna fall to his death, and every morning he would wake up in a cold sweat, man. So after a week of this crazy madness, right, finally feeling, just a little bit better, well enough to get out of his bed, the flea, he beckoned the elephant to his side. He clambered up, he just barely making it, and he's like, "Elephant mate, I'm not well. Please take me to the doctor." But the elephant, he just happily traveled off to the western shore, the beach this time, because now that he felt like the beach finally, right? And he spent the whole day, the elephant spent the whole day swimming, man, and the flea nearly drowned, eh? So that night, sitting by the fireplace and trying to warm himself up, the flea was really, sick and in shock and cold, right? And the flea had a thought, So the flea, he turned to the elephant and he said, "About tomorrow, what are your plans?" So you're probably wondering what the moral of this story is, It's simply this: if you are a flea riding an elephant, before you make any plans, you might want to check out what your elephant has in mind. All right? Makes sense, right? Now, the flea of the story, in this story, represents your conscious mind, your intellect, okay? Logic. Now, the elephant is your subconscious mind, which is what we're talking about here in this webinar. We're talking about the elephant. Yeah. Now, you can actually make friends with the elephant. You can actually ride with the elephant in peace, but you need to understand the elephant. You need to understand how the elephant works and all that. Then you can actually be one with the elephant. The problem is right now we are fighting with the elephant. The subconscious is playing tricks on our mind. Okay? Yeah? So the question is, if it's that simple, why don't we do it? Why don't we ever check with our subconscious first? The reason why is because of how we've been programmed, how we've been conditioned, how we've been brought up. You see, for 6,000 years, at least in this present civilization of humanity on this planet that is 4.5 billion years old, our current civilization is roughly 6 to 10,000 years old, this particular one. Okay, and for 6,000 years we've been taught a particular way of thinking about what we believe we are and what we believe the world is or life is. This is programming, and you're born into a cultural story, a narrative that tells you this is what you are and this is how the world works. Okay, and it happens generations after generations after generations, like you're born into a matrix, right? And so you don't even know what else to think. Okay, so the narratives, the rules, the systems that we are born into on this planet at this time are corrupt. When I say corrupt, I mean that the map of reality that we're using to navigate and manifest our lives with is broken. A map of reality is your self-view, what you believe you are, and your worldview, what you believe the world is or life is. Okay, and this broken worldview, the map of reality that we're born into, has 3 core lies that are breaking our ability to live the lives that we need to live. In other words, to have a good relationship with the elephant. Okay, the first lie is this. The first lie has to do with the self-view, and it says this: we are often raised overtly or covertly to believe that we are a biological skin bag. I'm just finding a word here. Basically, you're like a flesh with possibly a soul or spirit, and that possibility of a soul or spirit has little effect here on this planet in your daily life. Okay, and it's something that you possibly deal with only after death. So that's the first lie that is part of this broken map of reality. What you think you are. Okay, a human being, a piece of flesh walking the earth, possibly with a soul or spirit. Okay, the second lie has to do with the worldview. Okay, and it says this: the world is solid, separated, disconnected. That's it. You cannot challenge this idea. This is what we're told. It is a purely mechanical world that we live in, and the only way to get by is by using hard work and struggle so that you can physically move the pieces around mechanically. You see that idea of a mechanical universe. Okay, this is the second lie. Okay, the third lie is that's just the way it is, and if you think differently, we're gonna ridicule you and persecute you because you're crazy. You must toe the line, you must join the tribe, you must believe this stuff. Okay, like everyone else does, fit in. Yeah, so as long as we hold these 3 core lies, the problems, the psychology, the chaos will continue to be maintained and sustained. You see, the truth is that the natural state of humanity is bliss, love, connection. Yeah, manifestation is as natural as speaking. When you open your mouth, you don't actually pre-plan what you're gonna say. The words just roll out, right? The same with manifestation. Okay, and we'll see how that works in a second. Okay, so the major problems that we face individually as people and collectively as a planet already have solutions. Okay, even the ones that we think are impossible, they're already done. We simply need to look at things differently. Yeah, and to do that, we have to drop the 3 core lies. And so there is only one way out, at least that I know from my research and from my experiences. And this way out is this: reset. Hit the reset button on your self-view and your worldview. That's the secret. Drop the lies and the problems drop automatically. Okay, cool. Now it's time for the greatest secret that has been kept from you to be revealed, and that is the secret of your own divinity and your world's quantum multi-dimensional nature. Okay, so those are the 2 things that we're going to cover here: self-view, divinity; worldview, quantum and multi-dimensional, not mechanical and 3D. So let's get started, right?